In a world that once told them to hide their love, they stood up and made the world listen. They loved without fear, lived without shame, and turned their truth into strength. These are the women who dared to love out loud and changed what love truly means. There are stars and then there are pioneers. Namcha Charanut is the latter. When she came out publicly as a lesbian, she didn't just reveal her truth, she shattered silence. In a culture where many still hide who they are, Namcha's honesty was radical. She didn't make a spectacle of it. She simply said, "This is me." And that act of truth resonated like a thunderclap. Fans who had been afraid to speak suddenly found courage. Her story became a beacon for young queer people, not just in Thailand, but across Asia. Through her music, Namcha continues to celebrate love, real, unapologetic love. Her lyrics often speak about acceptance and freedom, and her performances are filled with emotional sincerity. In interviews, she reminds listeners that love boldly isn't just a slogan, it's a way of living. Namcha has faced criticism, but she meets it with grace. Her strength doesn't come from defiance, but from peace, the kind that comes only when you are no longer hiding. She stands as one of Thailand's most fearless queer voices, proving that truth, when spoken from the heart, can inspire a nation. Mook Warrenit represents a new kind of power, quiet, compassionate, and deeply human. Best known for her romantic dramas and effortlessly warm personality, she carries herself with a kindness that transcends fame. While Mook hasn't labeled herself, her openness to portraying diverse forms of love has made her an ally in the truest sense. She doesn't speak for the LGBTQ+ community. She stands beside it, listening, understanding, and supporting. Her fans adore her for more than her beauty. They love her empathy. She often reminds her audience that love doesn't need definitions. It just needs sincerity. In interviews, she's shared that the most important thing in life is to treat people with warmth, no matter who they are. In an industry that often prioritizes fame over values, Mook stands out for her integrity. She represents the evolving face of Thai entertainment, inclusive, kind, and unafraid to love beyond boundaries. Through her work and her heart, she reminds us that love isn't political, it's human. Perwa Nichafat's journey began with Hormones, the series, a groundbreaking show that captured the raw truth of Thai youth. Her role didn't just showcase her acting skill. It revealed her depth, her empathy, and her emotional honesty. What made Perwa special wasn't just her performance, but her authenticity. She wasn't afraid to show vulnerability, to connect deeply, to let audiences see her soul. That openness made her a voice of her generation, a young woman who wasn't trying to be perfect, just real. Over time, she has become a beloved figure among LGBTQ+ fans who see her as both an ally and an inspiration. Perwa consistently uses her platform to support equality and mental health awareness, encouraging her followers to embrace who they are. In a world obsessed with image, Perwa's message is refreshingly simple. Be kind, be honest, be yourself. Her warmth and emotional intelligence continue to break down walls between people, showing that love, in all its forms, is the language that unites us all. When Lovesick, the series first aired, few realized it would change the course of Thai television forever. At the heart of this revolution stood Apple Apichaya Saijung, a young woman with a gentle smile and fearless heart. Apple wasn't just playing a role, she was living it. Her portrayal of love between two women wasn't exaggerated or sensationalized. It was tender, real, and profoundly human. For countless young viewers, especially queer women, it was the first time they saw their kind of love on screen, not hidden, not mocked, but beautifully portrayed. Apple's performance opened a door that could never be closed again. She became the quiet spark that lit an entire movement, proving that love, in all its forms, deserves to be seen. Today, she's remembered not only as an actress, but as a pioneer who brought LGBTQ+ love stories into the heart of mainstream Thai culture. Do you think gender really defines love? Comment yes or no. Let's see what this community believes. Mindwarataya doesn't fight for equality with noise. She does it with grace. An acclaimed actress and model, Mind has used her influence to promote inclusion and kindness in an industry that often overlooks difference. She's been part of pride campaigns, spoken about representation in media, and stood beside the LGBTQ+ community with quiet yet powerful support. What makes her truly special is her empathy. She once said, "Compassion doesn't need to be loud. It starts with respect." Mind reminds us that allyship isn't always about making statements. Sometimes it's about simply standing by someone when it matters. Her calm strength and sincerity have made her one of the most beloved allies in Thai entertainment, a steady voice of understanding in a world that too often misunderstands. Young, bold, and unapologetically queer Dream Supakit represents a new generation of creators redefining what it means to be visible. Openly lesbian, Dream has turned her art into activism. Through photography, performance, and her vibrant social media presence, she talks about what others shy away from: mental health, body image, identity, and love. Her message is loud and clear: being different is my power. Dream's confidence is magnetic. She doesn't ask for acceptance, she commands it, simply by being herself. Her creativity blurs the line between activism and art, making her one of Thailand's most inspiring queer voices. She's not just a creator, she's a symbol of courage for a generation, learning to love themselves without apology. Before she became an icon of courage, Faye Fangkyu was already a pop sensation. As part of the hit girl group FFK, she captured hearts across Thailand with her talent and charm. But when Faye chose to live openly and share her same-sex relationship with the world, she did something even more powerful than releasing a hit song. She broke boundaries. Her openness changed lives. For many fans, Faye's honesty gave them the strength to live their own truth. She didn't make a spectacle out of it. She simply said, "I love who I love." In that one sentence, she taught millions that love doesn't need permission, only honesty. Today, Faye stands as a trailblazer for LGBTQ+ acceptance in Thai pop culture, proving that authenticity is the most beautiful form of rebellion. Graceful, intelligent, and fiercely independent, Mild Patarasaya embodies the elegance of modern womanhood. As an actress and model, she's admired not just for her beauty, but for her integrity and quiet strength. Though she keeps her private life discreet, Mild has always been an outspoken supporter of equality. She's lent her platform to campaigns for LGBTQ+ rights, marriage equality, and gender inclusion, using her voice to remind the public that love should never be limited by labels. She once said, "No one should have to explain who they love." That single line captures the essence of who she is, poised yet fearless, soft yet unshakably strong. To many queer fans, Mild represents a new kind of pride, one that's confident, calm, and full of quiet power. Her message to the world is simple and unforgettable. You don't need to shout to be seen, just live your truth, and the world will notice. Before anyone dared to tell lesbian love stories on the big screen, Aum Sucharat Manaing was brave enough to do it first. When she stepped into the role of Pai in Yes or No 2010, she didn't just act, she changed a generation. The film wasn't just a romance, it was a revolution. For the first time, young women across Thailand and the rest of Asia saw themselves reflected on screen, not as a joke or taboo, but as human, emotional, and worthy of love. Aum's performance radiated sincerity. Her chemistry with co-star Tina Jitalila was so natural that it blurred the line between acting and reality. In interviews, Aum always carried herself with grace, never loud, never defensive, but quietly strong. She once said that love, in any form, should be celebrated, not questioned. That message, delivered in her soft-spoken tone, resonated louder than any speech. Over a decade later, Aum remains a symbol of representation, proof that courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes, it simply smiles on screen and tells a love story the world isn't ready to hear until it finally is. If Aum gave the world its heart, Tina Jitalila gave it its voice. Known for her iconic role as Kim in Yes or No, Tina broke barriers that had stood for decades. Her portrayal of a confident, boyish lesbian was groundbreaking not only because it was rare, but because it was real. Audiences weren't used to seeing same-sex love portrayed with such raw honesty. But Tina didn't shy away. She leaned in. She showed the tenderness, the vulnerability, the human truth behind queer love. Suddenly, thousands of young women who had felt invisible could finally say, "That's me." Off-screen, Tina has lived her truth fearlessly. Openly identifying as lesbian, she has become a public advocate for LGBTQ+ representation and acceptance. Her androgynous charm and genuine personality turned her into a role model for a generation of Thai youth navigating their identities in a conservative society. Tina once said, "If I can make even one person feel less alone, then I've done my job." And she has done far more than that. She didn't just play a role, she built a movement. She turned courage into art, and art into liberation. Before Tina Jitalila stepped into the role of Kim in Yes or No 2010, queer love stories between women were rarely taken seriously in Asian media. But Tina changed the game. With her sharp tomboy look, calm confidence, and eyes that spoke louder than words, she represented millions who had never seen themselves reflected on screen. The film didn't just succeed, it became a turning point. Across Thailand, China, Vietnam, and the Philippines, fans gathered in theaters not just to watch a movie, but to witness themselves. Kimpi fandom exploded, and Tina became the first Pan-Asian good luck icon, a pioneer who turned silence into visibility. Tina didn't simply act. She ignited a cultural revolution. If Tina was the spark, Aom was the warmth. She brought Pi to life with softness, wit, and a vulnerability that made audiences believe in the love story on screen. Aom showed that love between women could be sweet, relatable, and full of butterflies, just like any great romance. Her connection with Tina felt so real that fans begged for sequels, wrote fan letters, and created endless tributes online. Kimpi wasn't fiction anymore, it became a beloved symbol of queer love. Aom helped transform a movie into a movement. Engthawaraha didn't just win Miss Grand Thailand, she redefined what a beauty queen could represent. She is fierce, charismatic, and refuses to hide her heart. In a society where many LGBTQ+ stars still keep their love private, Engfa steps forward boldly. Her bond with Charlotte Austin became a story the entire nation followed, not out of scandal, but inspiration. On stage or off, she radiates a message. Authenticity is royalty. Engfa is the queen who made loving fearlessly a crown of its own. Violet Wattier is more than a singer and actress, she's a cultural reset. Her unique voice, bilingual talent, and effortless indie pop style have made her one of Thailand's most recognizable modern artists. But it's her honesty about who she is that sets her apart. Violet openly embraces her queer identity, turning the stage into a place where individuality is celebrated rather than questioned. Through hit songs about heartbreak and healing, she shows fans that queer love carries the same intensity, confusion, and beauty as any relationship. Her presence is a reminder. Being yourself can be the coolest trend of all. Belle Warasara has become a fan favorite thanks to her tomboy style and warm, natural charisma. She plays queer-coded roles with confidence and heart, making viewers feel instantly seen and supported. Her characters often represent the kind of girl many fans fall for, quietly the protector, the confidant, the one who loves deeply without saying much. Belle's charm is more than aesthetic. It's emotional electricity. With every role she takes on, she continues to earn the title of Thailand's beloved good luck sweetheart. Charlotte Austin isn't just rising, she's redefining what a rising star looks like. When she steps into a scene, there's a spark, a natural charisma that doesn't shout, it invites. Fans across Thailand, the Philippines, Vietnam, and beyond feel like they know her. She represents a new kind of celebrity, approachable, genuine, and proud to love fearlessly. Her partnership with Engfa didn't just win crowns and stages, it captured hearts. Their chemistry became a cultural moment, a reminder that real love doesn't ask for approval. It simply is. Charlotte's presence in the media gives a powerful message to young LGBTQ+ audiences. You belong. You're allowed to be celebrated. Your love deserves the spotlight. As she continues to work, travel, perform, and connect with fans, Charlotte proves that global success and authenticity can grow side by side. The more the world sees her, the more they embrace the truth she carries. Love has no borders. Confidence has no shame. Visibility has power. Charlotte isn't just part of the change. She is the change, lifting others as she ascends. Tutantawan stands at the crossroads of culture and courage. Millions know her for her talent, beauty, and emotional honesty on screen, but what truly sets her apart is her ability to shift perspectives. When Tu delivers a queer love story, it feels natural, human, universal. She opens the hearts of people who once thought LGBTQ+ stories weren't meant for them. Through her performances, audiences begin to understand. Love isn't political. Love isn't a statement. Love is simply a feeling everyone deserves to experience. Tu's rise symbolizes a turning point in mainstream entertainment. Where once doors were tightly shut, she steps through them with grace and leaves them open for others to follow. She inspires empathy, she inspires acceptance, and she shows that storytelling doesn't just entertain, it can heal. Tutantawan is living proof that representation isn't a temporary trend. It's the future unfolding right now through the hearts of artists brave enough to tell the truth. Lertfirot isn't waiting for permission to exist. She's already here, thriving in full color. Online, she radiates the chaotic, joyful truth of modern queer life. One minute she's dancing, laughing, and making jokes that feel like inside secrets. The next, she's delivering messages of acceptance that hit straight to the heart. Her social media feeds have become safe spaces. A place where identity isn't questioned, it's celebrated. Where confusion is normal. Where joy is revolutionary. For LGBTQ+ teens scrolling through their phones late at night, unsure of who they're allowed to be, Dee's voice becomes a lifeline. She says through her presence alone, "You are loved for who you are, not who they want you to be." She reminds the world that visibility doesn't always have to be heavy or heartbreaking. Sometimes it's glitter-filled laughter. Sometimes it's dancing like no one is judging, even though millions are watching. Dee shows us that pride isn't just survival. It's joy, loud and unstoppable. And through every video, she inspires others to choose joy too. Jenny Panhan is a force the kind that changes culture while making everyone laugh along the way. For years, transgender women were cast as stereotypes. Jenny rewrote the script. She commands the stage with sharp wit and fearless charm, turning comedy into a weapon against ignorance. When people try to limit her, she simply raises the microphone and raises the bar. Her laughter isn't just entertainment. It's activism disguised as humor. It's courage disguised as punchlines. Whether she's acting, hosting, or speaking her truth, Jenny's presence challenges outdated norms. She shows that transgender women are not to be mocked but to be admired, not hidden but celebrated. Behind the spotlight, she remains deeply human, a woman who has overcome judgment and turned her resilience into a roadmap for others. Every young trans person who sees her on screen learns something powerful. There's nothing funny about hiding who you are, but everything beautiful about embracing it. Jenny Panhan isn't just breaking barriers. She's making sure everyone laughs while watching them fall. Baifern Pimchanak is the kind of actress who doesn't just play emotion, she lives it on screen. Her performances breathe life into characters who love fiercely, hurt deeply, and fight for the right to be seen. When Baifern portrays a queer woman, she refuses to flatten that love into a stereotype. Instead, she fills it with complexity, the kind that lingers long after the credits roll. Every look she gives, every tear she sheds, every moment she chooses courage over silence. Audiences feel it in their bones. With her, queer love becomes cinematic, not sensationalized. Relatable, not reduced. Real, not theoretical. Baifern's storytelling power is simple but transformative. She shows that when two women fall in love, it is just as epic, messy, beautiful, fragile, and worth fighting for as any romance ever written. Through her work, hearts open. Through her visibility, minds change. And through her passion, queer love gets the dignity and fire it deserves. Hin Namfon doesn't change the world with movie roles or flashing lights. She changes it with honesty and with love lived out loud. Her social platform isn't curated for perfection, it's made for truth. Breakfast dates, road trips, silly jokes, cozy nights in. She and her girlfriend share the rhythms of real life, and each post becomes a declaration. Love like ours exists, and it deserves to be seen. For generations, queer women were told their happiness had to stay hidden. Hin's unapologetic joy says otherwise. She shows that love doesn't have to be dramatic to be powerful. Sometimes the most radical revolution is simply holding your partner's hand in broad daylight. In her openness, fans find permission. In her courage, they find comfort. In her smile, they find hope. Hin Namphon proves that representation isn't only built by celebrities. Sometimes it's built by someone brave enough to live their truth, one day at a time. Aof Panya works off-camera, yet she stands at the heart of a movement. As one of the few openly lesbian creators shaping Thailand's entertainment world, Aof has spent years pushing for LGBTQ+ stories that feel real, not filtered. She gives queer women something they have rarely had before in media: respect. Her sets are safe spaces. Her scripts are fuel for change. Her leadership turns visibility into opportunity. AOF knows that representation isn't just about who we see, it's about who gets to tell the story. Every actress she encourages, every writer she supports, every scene she crafts with intention becomes part of a larger revolution. She isn't just producing content. She's laying the foundation for a future where queer women no longer have to fight for a seat at the table because she helped build the table. Aof Panya's legacy won't fade when the camera stops rolling. It will live on in every story that dares to love honestly. Mook Warrenit has long been a household name in romance, but something magical happened when she stepped into pairings with women. Queer audiences found themselves in her softness. There's a tenderness in the way she loves on screen, a delicate honesty that feels intimate and real. With just a shy smile or a quiet moment of eye contact, Mook can turn a simple scene into a 1,000-page love story. Her chemistry with female co-stars isn't manufactured for trends, it is rooted in her dedication to portraying love with sincerity. She doesn't treat queer romance as something different, she treats it as something true. And fans all across Asia responded not with casual interest, but with devotion. They saw a woman who understood their longing before they ever spoke it. Today, Mook stands as proof that representation doesn't need labels or loud declarations, it needs empathy, it needs heart. And in every role she plays, she gives both generously. Her impact stretches far beyond screens. She is helping millions feel seen, cherished, and worthy of the happily ever after they dreamed of. Maya Chinita represents the spark of a new generation, unfiltered, unafraid, and unstoppable. She steps into good luck roles with a confidence that says, "We belong in every love story." Her performances crackle with youth, the kind of wide-eyed, heart-pounding excitement that makes audiences remember what first love feels like. Maya doesn't portray queer love as something complicated or forbidden. She portrays it as something beautiful, something meant to be celebrated. With every scene, she challenges old norms and shatters outdated walls. She reminds the industry that LGBTQ+ stories aren't niche. They are the here and the now. Young fans look at her and see possibility, a future where no one has to choose between authenticity and success. Maya isn't just participating in the good luck movement. She's shaping it, lighting the path for the rising stars who will follow. Radiant, fearless, inspirational. She is becoming the kind of icon this decade will remember. Mook Batong didn't grow into confidence, she fought for it. In a culture where queer women often get told how to dress, how to act, and whom to love, Mook walked straight through the expectations and said, "No, I define myself." Her bold style isn't just fashion, it's a declaration. Her visibility isn't just presence, it's protection for those still hiding. Young queer girls see her and realize they don't have to apologize for their identity. They don't have to dim their light to survive. They can shine and shine brightly. Mook stands for every woman who has ever felt like her love made her less than. She stands tall and shows the world. Being queer is a source of pride, not a secret. In the fashion world, beauty has always been a cage, a narrow idea of perfection that excludes more than it celebrates. Looknam Orntara is tearing that cage apart. She steps onto runways with a face full of confidence, a heart full of pride, and a message that refuses to be ignored. Beauty is not what the world allows, it's what you choose to be. With every photo shoot, she inspires queer youth who once felt wrong in their own skin. She is proof that beauty doesn't have a gender or a limit. Looknam isn't just redefining beauty. She's teaching a generation to love themselves harder than the world ever tried to hate them. For decades, queer women were written out of happy endings. They were side characters, punchlines, or tragedies. Emma Panesara is helping rewrite that script. Her performances pulse with authenticity, the type that comes from understanding that representation isn't just entertainment, it's survival. Girls watching Emma don't just see a character. They see a path forward, a life where they can love freely, a future where they can hold someone's hand without fear, a world where their happiness matters. Emma is not simply acting, she's giving queer women the spotlight they always deserved. There is a powerful activism hidden inside everyday happiness, and playing rock embodies it. She doesn't preach. She doesn't debate. She simply lives her truth and invites the world to witness love that once had to stay behind closed doors. A smile shared with her partner. A celebration of milestones once denied to queer couples. A simple caption that says, "We are here, we are happy, and we are not afraid." Her joy challenges stereotypes. Her openness challenges shame. Her existence challenges a history that said queer women shouldn't be seen. Playing is a living reminder. Love is a right, not a luxury. In a world that often associates love with conditions and rules, Nunu Chawaran brings gentleness that disarms and heals. Through his BL characters, he gives audiences something precious. A look at queer love through the lens of tenderness, innocence, and sincerity. People who had never considered LGBTQ+ rights suddenly find themselves rooting for two men in love, feeling their pain, celebrating their joy, believing in their story. That is a culture shift. That is influence. Nunu proves that softness isn't weakness. It's how hearts are changed. Fluknatach never set out to become a symbol, but the world chose him anyway. When he stepped into his truth and embraced his identity publicly, he faced a risk most actors still hesitate to take today. Would fans stay? Would roles vanish? Would his career suffer for being honest? But what happened instead was extraordinary. He didn't lose admiration, he earned respect. Now, every role he plays carries more meaning. Every love scene becomes an affirmation. Every character becomes a mirror for those who have long searched for themselves on screen. Fluke didn't just come out, he showed up. And in doing so, he helped rewrite the rules for queer representation in Thai entertainment. His courage didn't end with him. It opened doors. It lit a path. And countless others are now walking through the future he helped create. Fluknatach isn't just an actor. He is a landmark in the history of visibility, and his legacy has only just begun. Few actresses in Thailand have the star power, versatility, or cultural impact of Bayfern Pimchanok. But what makes her truly iconic is her honesty. Bayfern openly shared that she can be attracted to both men and women, a bold admission in an industry still learning to embrace fluidity. She didn't dramatize it or hide it. She simply said it with the same ease she carries into every role. That authenticity resonated deeply with young women across Asia. She became a symbol of freedom, of living without shame, without boxes, without fear of judgment. In her performances, Bayfern brings emotional intensity and humanity that transcend gender or orientation. Whether she plays a girl in love, a woman heartbroken, or a character fighting for autonomy, she carries the same message. Love is love, and identity is yours to define. She stands not just as a superstar, but as a modern queer icon for a new generation. When Violette Wattier introduced her girlfriend to the world, she didn't just come out, she shifted the culture. With her soft voice and raw songwriting, Violette has always been unafraid to bare her soul. But when she chose to share her real love story, she became something more, a beacon of hope for queer youth across Thailand. Her songs speak of heartbreak, longing, courage, and freedom. Her openness speaks of pride. Her presence speaks of liberation. Violette doesn't shout her identity, she lives it beautifully. Whether performing on stage or speaking to fans, she radiates emotional honesty. She represents the new face of queer love in Thailand. Gentle, vulnerable, proud, and profoundly real. If Tina was the spark, Aum was the warmth that made the fire spread across Asia. Her portrayal of Pi in Yes or No melted hearts everywhere. She didn't need a label, a banner, or a declaration. Her gentleness was her power. The chemistry between Aum and Tina wasn't just acting, it was a cultural moment. A moment that told millions of LGBTQ+ viewers, your love can be soft, your love can be pure, your love is valid. Aum brought tenderness, innocence, and emotional depth to the role, showing that girl love stories deserve the same respect and beauty as any other romance. To this day, the good luck community sees Aum as a comforting light, a symbol of acceptance, safety, and emotional honesty. She remains a reminder that love doesn't always shout. Sometimes, it whispers and still changes the world. Power, confidence, charisma. These three words define Freen Sorocha, the undisputed queen of Thailand's modern good luck era. Her role in Gap. The series didn't just make her famous, it made her a phenomenon. Freen brought a kind of strength and dominance rarely seen in good luck leads. A confident woman who knows who she is, what she wants, and what she stands for. Fans across Asia, from Thailand to the Philippines to Latin America, connected instantly with her energy. She became a symbol of independence, self-assurance, and womanhood without limits. But behind the spotlight, Freen's sincerity and quiet kindness make her even more beloved. She speaks openly about acceptance, equality, and living without fear. She isn't just a star, she's a force. A face of empowerment for LGBTQ+ women everywhere. A reminder that love stories between women deserve to be grand, powerful, and global. If Freen is fire, Becky Armstrong is the light that softens it. Together, they formed one of the most beloved good luck pairings of the decade, a duo whose chemistry crossed borders, languages, and generations. Half Thai, half British, Becky stepped into the spotlight with sincerity and warmth. She didn't try to be a star, she simply was. Her gentle voice, heartfelt acting, and natural sweetness turned her into a global fan favorite almost overnight. But it wasn't just her talent that won hearts. It was her heart itself. Becky speaks openly about equality and visibility, encouraging LGBTQ+ youth to embrace who they are. She radiates kindness, optimism, and grace, the type of energy people feel safe around. For millions of fans, Becky is more than a good luck actress. She is hope. She is comfort. She is the new generation's voice of acceptance. When Engpha Waraha became Miss Grand Thailand 2022, she didn't just win a crown, she began a revolution. Openly identifying as bisexual, Engpha fearlessly claimed space in an industry that often pressures women to stay silent about identity. Her stage presence is magnetic. Her confidence is unmatched. Her authenticity is irresistible. Engpha represents a new era of Thai femininity, bold, proud, artistic, and completely unafraid. She tells her fans to embrace who they are, to shine brightly, and to live truthfully even when the world hesitates to accept them. Her fame is global, but her message is intimate. Own your identity. Love it, protect it. Engpha stands as one of Thailand's most influential LGBTQ+ voices, a living reminder that pride is power. Elegant, witty, and emotionally grounded, Charlotte Austin stole hearts the moment she stepped onto the stage beside Engpha. Together, as Englot, they created a cultural wave unlike anything Thailand had seen. Their chemistry wasn't forced, it was natural. warm, and beautifully human. Charlotte's blend of Thai and British charm made her instantly lovable. Fans admired her humor, her intelligence, and the quiet strength beneath her soft exterior. What made Englot iconic wasn't just romance or fan service, it was the genuine connection two women shared in front of the world. They laughed together, they supported each other, they radiated authenticity. Charlotte became, and remains, a symbol of love that feels gentle yet powerful, proving that visibility can be sweet, joyful, and deeply meaningful. A legend, a rebel, a queen in her own right. Ploy Chamarn has dominated Thai entertainment for years, not only for her acting excellence, but for her boldness and honesty. When she revealed she could be attracted to women, she didn't whisper it, she said it with the same confidence that defines her career. Ploy is unapologetically herself, wild in passion, fearless in expression, and fiercely independent. Her openness challenged conventions and helped normalize fluid sexuality in Thai media. She became an unintentional queer icon not because she tried to be one, but because her authenticity resonated deeply with LGBTQ+ fans searching for powerful, liberated role models. Ploy represents the strength of a woman who refuses to shrink for anyone. Few entertainers in Thailand shine as brightly or as joyfully as Jenny Panhan. A comedian, actress, and openly lesbian public figure, Jenny has become a national treasure for her humor, charisma, and courage. She turns stages into safe spaces, using laughter as a weapon against stereotypes and prejudice. Through her talk shows, interviews, and charity projects, Jenny brings visibility to the LGBTQ+ community in a way that feels warm, human, and deeply relatable. Jenny doesn't just entertain, she educates, advocates, and uplifts. She's living proof that representation can be joyful, hilarious, and healing all at once. To millions of fans, she is not only a star, she is comfort, courage, and celebration rolled into one unforgettable personality. Bright, confident, and unapologetically authentic Prim Chanakarn represents the future of Thai entertainment. As one of Gen Z's most influential actresses, Prim brings a refreshing honesty to everything she does. Her self-expression, fashion, and personality all reflect a generation that refuses to hide. Prim openly supports LGBTQ+ rights and often uses her massive platform to encourage empathy, acceptance, and compassion. She speaks to young fans in their own language with humor, warmth, and sincerity. For queer youth who have long felt unseen, Prim has become a symbol of possibility. She shows them that being yourself is not just allowed, it's beautiful. And in a world where representation still matters deeply, Prim stands proudly on the side of love. Soft, warm, and emotionally captivating Mook Warrenet has quietly become one of the most adored actresses among Good Luck fans. Her roles in girl love dramas are filled with tenderness, human presence on screen is comforting. This is never natural, supports gender equality and acceptance through her gentle advocacy. To her fans, she represents the kind of love that is patient, understanding, and pure, a reminder that queer stories can also be soft and healing. A rising star with a quiet but powerful impact, Baipoor has become a favorite among Good Luck audiences. She appears frequently in girl love content, and her performances are always marked by honesty and vulnerability. Baipoor understands the importance of representation. She plays queer characters with respect, care, and emotional sensitivity, giving viewers the feeling that they are finally being seen. For many women looking for visibility on screen, Baipoor's roles feel like a gift. Her characters reflect their longing, their strength, their softness, and above all, their right to love openly. With each project, Baipoor helps expand the presence of Good Luck storytelling in Thailand, proving that young actresses can shape the future of queer representation. Tina Jitalila isn't just a star, she is the origin story of Thailand's Good Luck revolution. When she stepped onto the screen as Kim in Yes or No 2010, she didn't just play a character. she opened a door that had been locked for generations. With her cool tomboy charm, expressive eyes, and quiet confidence, Tina became something no one expected at the time, a pan-Asian lesbian icon. For the first time, millions of girls across Thailand, China, Vietnam, the Philippines, and beyond saw themselves reflected honestly and beautifully. Before Tina, good luck was almost unseen. After Tina, everything changed. She didn't hide. She didn't apologize. She simply existed boldly, authentically, and with pride. More than a decade later, her influence still ripples across the region. Every new good luck actress, every queer positive series, every fan who finally feels seen, all of them carry a piece of Tina's legacy. She is and will always be the first fearless legend. A true pioneer behind the scenes, Aof Panya is one of the very few openly lesbian producers in Thai entertainment. Her work has shaped the good luck industry in ways most viewers never see. AOF is the creative force behind many girl love projects that have brought comfort and visibility to queer women across Asia. She builds safe environments for actresses, writes stories with real emotional depth, and pushes for LGBTQ+ authenticity at every level of production. Her courage to live openly in an industry where many still hide their identity has made her a role model not just for fans, but for creators as well. Aof isn't just producing content. She is building a future where queer women finally get the stories they deserve: rich, nuanced, beautiful, and true. Fresh, expressive, and incredibly natural, Film Rakanoon has become one of the most beloved young actresses among queer audiences. She first gained attention through youth dramas, but it was her good luck roles that turned her into a rising icon. Film brings authenticity to every character she plays, whether it's soft romance, heartfelt vulnerability, or quiet strength. Her charm feels effortless, and her portrayals of queer relationships are filled with sincerity that resonates deeply with fans. With each new project, her fanbase grows not because of hype, but because of heart. Film represents a new wave of actresses who treat good luck stories not as genres, but as real, meaningful love stories worth telling with care. She stands as a young, powerful voice in the evolution of queer representation in Thailand. Bold, direct, and unapologetically real, Pei Panwad is one of the few Thai actresses who openly spoke about dating women long before LGBTQ+ conversations became mainstream. At a time when many celebrities chose silence, Pei chose honesty. That courage made her a beloved figure among queer viewers who saw in her something rare, a woman unafraid to live her truth in public. Pei's attitude has always been straightforward. She doesn't hide, she doesn't pretend, she doesn't perform for approval. Her authenticity, both in her career and personal life, helped normalize queer relationships in an industry that often prefers discretion. For Thailand's LGBTQ+ community, Pei represents visibility before visibility was safe, a pioneer whose fearlessness paved the way for younger generations to live with less fear and more freedom. Soft-spoken, yet deeply expressive, Dream Supakit embodies a gentle, soulful form of queer femininity that resonates across Asia. Her natural beauty, calm presence, and emotional acting style have made her a rising favorite in good luck entertainment. Dream doesn't need dramatic roles to leave an impact. Her charm lies in subtlety, a quiet gaze, a soft smile, a heartfelt moment. Fans adore her because she feels real, grounded, and human. She often shares messages of acceptance and emotional honesty on social media, making her an approachable and comforting figure for LGBTQ+ youth. Dream represents a different kind of queer icon, not loud, not rebellious, but softly powerful. The kind whose presence alone feels like a safe space. Cool, confident, and effortlessly stylish Milk Pansa is one of the biggest sapphic icons of Thailand's new generation. Her tomboy charm and charismatic energy instantly attracted a large queer fan base, especially young women who saw themselves reflected in her expression of gender. As both an idol and actress, Milk has become a staple in good luck projects, portraying queer romance with sincerity and depth. Her performances feel natural, relatable, and emotionally grounded, a rare combination that has earned her fans across the entire Asian region. She doesn't just act in good luck stories, she embraces them, treating each role with respect and authenticity. To thousands of sapphic fans, Milk represents freedom. Freedom to be strong, to be soft, to be yourself. Paired with Milk, Love Patronite became half of the beloved Milk-Love phenomenon, one of Thailand's most iconic good luck couples to date. Their chemistry was instant. Their connection was effortless. And together, they created a wave of representation that touched millions. Love is radiant, expressive, and fiercely talented. Whether she's playing a sweet romantic lead or a strong-willed heroine, she brings emotional honesty to every role. Fans admire her for her confidence, activism, and her support for gender inclusivity. She carries herself with a sense of empowerment that makes her not just a star, but a symbol of modern womanhood. With Milk, Love helped redefine good luck storytelling, proving that female-female romance can be just as electrifying, emotional, and culturally impactful as any mainstream love story. Yonploy Shampoo first captured audiences through Hormones the series, where her raw honesty and relatable acting made her an instant standout. She later continued to shine in girl love roles, bringing vulnerability, complexity, and authenticity to every character. Jan's strength lies in her emotional transparency. She portrays queer love not as a trope, but as a human experience, tender, complicated, and real. Because of this, she gained a loyal LGBTQ+ fanbase who look to her as a storyteller of their lives. Her performances feel intimate, as if she carries the weight of real queer experiences into every scene. Jan is more than an actress in good luck drama, she is an interpreter of emotion, a bridge between fiction and the hearts of the viewers watching. Graceful, gentle, and quietly powerful Nam Tan Tamsuk became a beloved figure in the good luck community after her role in Gap the series. Her portrayal brought tenderness and emotional truth to the screen, reminding audiences that queer love doesn't need to be dramatic to be meaningful, it just needs to be real. Namtan carries a message that resonates deeply. Love has no labels. It's simple, but in a world still learning to accept differences, it is revolutionary. Her soft strength and sincerity have made her a favorite among queer women seeking representation that feels honest and respectful. Nam Tan's presence shows that good luck stories can be warm, hopeful, and full of grace. A star who crossed borders, Nene Pornanapan is adored across Asia, especially in China, where she built a massive fan base for her authenticity and emotional sincerity. Her roles often explore themes of closeness, trust, and tenderness, making her an unexpected queer favorite. Nene's charm is subtle, grounded, and deeply human. She carries a softness that resonates with LGBTQ+ fans who gravitate toward actresses who express emotion with honesty rather than theatrics. Her good luck-friendly roles and warm interactions with fans transformed her into a symbol of inclusivity and acceptance in the Asian entertainment scene. To many, Nene represents modern queer femininity, gentle, graceful, and beautifully sincere. Vibrant, outspoken, and unapologetically herself, Phai Welleray is one of Thailand's most visible, openly lesbian influencers. She uses her platform to spread positivity, confidence, and love, encouraging LGBTQ+ followers to embrace their identity without fear. Phai talks openly about queer relationships, representation, and mental health, often many people wish they could find in their everyday lives. Her presence online is a reminder that queer love is not something to whisper about, it's something to celebrate. Her joyful energy makes her a role model for young women discovering their sexuality. Phai shows them that being openly lesbian is not just possible, it can be beautiful, empowering, and full of happiness. Stylish, confident, and refreshingly candid, Grace Mahadamrongkol has long been admired for her fearless self-expression. She once spoke openly about her attraction to women, immediately earning respect from LGBTQ+ fans for her honesty and confidence. Grace is the embodiment of modern Thai femininity, bold but elegant, strong but playful. She carries herself with a kind of authenticity that queer audiences instantly connect with someone who lives truthfully, unapologetically, and beautifully. Her fashion sense, charisma, and confidence make her a standout figure in queer culture, especially among women who seek empowered role models. Grace shows that identity should be embraced, not hidden, and that living boldly is a form of pride in itself. Quietly rising, yet undeniably impactful Prewa Suthamthong has become a familiar face in Thailand's good luck storytelling landscape. She has taken on multiple girl love-themed roles, portraying women with emotional depth, nuance, and complexity. Prewa's characters often embody the struggles and softness of modern queer womanhood, confused yet brave, vulnerable yet determined. Her relatability makes her stand out. She doesn't just play gay roles, she brings humanity into every scene. This authenticity earned her deep appreciation from the good luck community, who see in Prewa someone who respects queer stories and understands the weight they carry. Prewa is proof that representation doesn't need to be loud sometimes. It just needs to be honest. Magnetic, unpredictable, iconic, Kitty Chicha became a global sensation as Nano in Girl From Nowhere, a role that redefined Thai storytelling and catapulted her into international fame. With her razor-sharp features, enigmatic aura, and bold fashion, Kitty naturally evolved into a queer icon, a national crush for sapphic fans across Asia. She represents a form of femininity that is powerful, mysterious, and untamed. Fans admire her because she breaks every rule. She's not soft, she's not predictable, she's not afraid. Her characters often challenge social norms, and her off-screen personality radiates independence and artistic freedom. Kitty didn't just become a queer favorite, she became a symbol of dangerous beauty and unapologetic strength. Soft voice, real emotions, open heart, May Ratchanok is one of Thailand's most beloved indie singer-songwriters. She openly dates women and writes music that feels raw, intimate, and deeply personal. Her lyrics explore love, heartbreak, longing, and healing in ways that resonate strongly with queer listeners who rarely find songs that reflect their own experiences. May's authenticity is her power. She doesn't turn her queerness into a performance, she simply lives it. And in doing so, she gives her fans the courage to live honestly, too. Her concerts feel like safe spaces. Her voice feels like a warm hug. Her music feels like home for LGBTQ+ hearts that have spent years searching for representation. Cool, confident, and effortlessly charismatic, Filmed by Toei has a tomboy charm that has earned her a devoted sapphic fan base. As both a singer and actress, she frequently appears in good luck adjacent roles and actively participates in LGBTQ+ advocacy and campaigns. Her gender expression challenges traditional expectations, offering queer viewers a refreshing representation of fluid femininity. Film radiates authenticity wherever she goes, whether performing on stage, acting on screen, or speaking about equality online. Fans adore her for being real. No masks, no filters, no hesitation. She is the kind of woman who owns her presence and encourages others to do the same. Fearless and full of life, Hin Namphon is one of Thailand's most influential openly queer creators. She doesn't hide her love, she celebrates it. On social media, Hin shares her life alongside her girlfriend with joy, honesty, and vulnerability, giving thousands of LGBTQ+ women the courage to live more openly. In a society where many still struggle to come out, Hin's confidence becomes a form of activism. Her message to young women is clear: your love deserves to be seen. Through every photo, every story, every moment of truth, Hin proves that visibility saves lives and that being yourself is the most beautiful kind of rebellion. Elegant, captivating, and timeless Noon Waranuch has long been embraced by queer fans, even without public confirmation of the rumors surrounding her. Her powerful aura, expressive eyes, and emotionally layered characters have made her a symbol of queer femininity in Thailand for decades. There is a strength in Noon's presence, a quiet intensity that resonates deeply with sapphic audiences. Whether she plays a gentle lover, a fierce heroine, or a conflicted woman, Noon brings emotional richness that feels deeply real. For many LGBTQ+ viewers, Noon represents the kind of woman who defies categorization, confident, complex, magnetic. She remains a beloved queer icon not by intention, but by impact. Music has no borders, and neither does love. Ploikampu Janenweigel, the German-Thai singer, songwriter, and actress, has become one of Southeast Asia's most inspiring young voices. Her music transcends language and gender, focusing on universal emotion, heartbreak, hope, and human connection. Ploikampu's gentle energy and global mindset have made her an ally and inspiration to fans across Asia. She has openly supported LGBTQ+ rights and equality movements, proving that compassion is stronger than conformity. In interviews, she often says that labels only divide, while music unites, and her art reflects that truth. Through her melodies and her message, Ploikampu reminds the world that love is not a category, it's a language everyone understands. She represents a generation that sees no boundaries between people, only possibilities. When Pangina Heels steps onto a stage, the world listens and loves. Born Pan Narkprasert, she has become one of Thailand's most iconic and internationally celebrated drag artists. As co-host of Drag Race Thailand and a fierce competitor on RuPaul's Drag Race UK vs. the World, Pangina turned Thai queer culture into a global celebration. But behind the glitter and gowns is a visionary, a performer who uses art to challenge prejudice and uplift others. Her drag is a declaration of identity, power, and pride. Pangina's presence bridges East and West, tradition and rebellion, reminding the world that being yourself is the boldest act of all. She once said, "Be proud, be loud, be yourself." And she lives every word of it. Through laughter, fashion, and fearlessness, Pangina Heels has given Thailand and the world permission to shine in full color. Actress, model, and filmmaker Pha Yongware Onalbal is a woman who refuses to be boxed in. With her bold personality and artistic vision, she stands as one of Thailand's most dynamic young talents. Pha has never shied away from complex, challenging roles, especially those that celebrate queer identity and women's empowerment. She speaks her truth with confidence, on and off screen, and her open support for the LGBTQ+ community has made her a beacon of freedom. Pha once said, "Love in any form is art," and that belief runs through everything she does. In her interviews, she radiates authenticity. In her work, she embodies courage. For queer fans across Thailand, Pha represents more than beauty or talent, she represents possibility. She's living proof that strength and softness can coexist, and that the truest kind of power is being unapologetically yourself. With calm wisdom and quiet fire, Aim Satita has become one of Thailand's most beloved queer influencers. A model, advocate, and mental health champion, she uses her voice to normalize conversations that were once taboo: love, identity, healing, and self-worth. Aim doesn't preach, she shares. Through heartfelt posts and open discussions, she's built a space where followers can feel seen and safe. Her celebration of pride isn't just performative, it's personal. She radiates empathy, reminding others that self-acceptance is a journey, not a destination. Her elegance and strength make her more than a model, she's a mentor. Aim's message is simple: love yourself as you are and let that love ripple outward. Do you think gender really defines love? Comment yes or no, let's see what this community believes. Soft-spoken but strong, Baipor Thatia has become one of the most cherished actresses of her generation. Known for her heartfelt roles in romantic dramas, she often brings authenticity and warmth to every story she tells, especially those exploring the beauty of same-sex love. Off-screen, Baipor's kindness is her superpower. She's open-minded, compassionate, and deeply supportive of LGBTQ+ visibility in Thai entertainment. Her words often comfort fans struggling with identity or belonging. On social media, she speaks directly to them. You are enough, just as you are. Those simple words have carried hope to thousands who needed to hear them. Baipor represents the quiet power of empathy, the kind that doesn't make headlines, but changes hearts. Her work reminds audiences that acting is more than performance, it's connection, courage, and care. She may be young, but Prim Chanakarn is already a symbol of courage for a new generation. As an actress, model, and influencer, Prim brings authenticity to everything she does, bright, outspoken, and unafraid to use her voice. She's become a proud ally for the LGBTQ+ community, supporting pride campaigns and using her massive social following to advocate for empathy and inclusion. Her youth isn't a limitation, it's her strength. Prim represents a Thailand where acceptance starts early, where love and equality are the norm, not the exception. In her own words, she believes that being kind is the most beautiful thing a person can be. That kindness, paired with her confidence, has made her one of the most admired young stars in Thai entertainment. Prim Chanakarn isn't just growing up in the spotlight, she's growing into a role model for the future. Few stars radiate sincerity like Mook Warrenet. Her soft-spoken nature and emotional depth have made her one of Thailand's most beloved actresses. Mook has spent years portraying roles that explore love in its many forms, gentle, patient, and unbound by gender. Her performances always feel deeply human, and her interviews reveal a woman driven by empathy rather than ego. She supports gender inclusivity, LGBTQ+ equality, and mental health awareness, using her fame to spread positivity and understanding. Fans adore her not just for her beauty, but for her honesty, the way she leads with her heart in an industry that often hides behind masks. To many, Mook represents something rare: quiet strength. She reminds audiences that love doesn't need labels, only truth. And in her simplicity lies her greatest impact. She makes kindness look powerful. Gentle yet powerful, Siaze Apichaya Saijung has a voice that feels like a warm embrace. Both a singer and actress, Siaze's artistry flows from empathy. She tells stories that reach beyond gender and labels, touching the shared human heart underneath. Her performances are soft yet stirring, often portraying emotional depth that resonates deeply with LGBTQ+ fans. Off-screen, she uses her social media presence to promote kindness, inclusion, and understanding, reminding her audience that love has no boundaries. There's a quiet magic in Siaze's energy, a kindness that doesn't shout, but shines. She has become a safe space for those who feel unseen, proving that sometimes the most revolutionary act is simply leading with love. Jane Ramita, known to many from Hormones, the series, is a voice for fearless authenticity. Her androgynous beauty and confident self-expression challenge outdated ideas of what femininity should look like. Jane embraces fluidity in style, in attitude, in life. She wears strength like fashion, effortlessly blending softness with defiance. For young LGBTQ+ fans, she's more than a celebrity. She's a mirror, someone who reminds them they don't have to change to be accepted. She once said in an interview, "The moment you stop trying to please others, you start becoming yourself." That philosophy defines her career and her presence. Jane stands as a symbol of youth, power, and truth, a generation's answer to fear with freedom. Through her art and authenticity, she's redefining what Thai beauty means: confident, creative, and free from limits. Lukjan Basidi shines with effortless warmth, the kind of brightness that lights up every screen she graces. A rising actress and model, she represents a new era of Thai femininity: confident, kind, and inclusive. Her charm comes not just from her smile, but from her sincerity. Lukjan has been a consistent supporter of pride celebrations and LGBTQ+ rights, often using her platform to amplify messages of equality. She tells her fans, "You don't need to fit in to belong," a phrase that has become something of a mantra for her growing community of followers. In a world that often demands conformity, Lukjan chooses compassion. Her presence reminds everyone, queer or not, that belonging isn't about sameness, but about acceptance. She's not just acting for applause, she's acting for awareness, helping to shape a Thailand where every kind of love feels seen. Mark Pakin steps into queer roles with intention, and intention creates impact. He doesn't treat BL as a stepping stone. He treats it as storytelling that matters. Mark brings sincerity to every connection his characters form, making viewers believe in love that defies rules and breaks stereotypes. His rise signals a major shift. The next generation of actors isn't here to make queer visibility acceptable. They're here to make it celebrated. Mark Pakin stands at the front of that movement, passionate, thoughtful, and fearless. As the industry evolves, he's not just riding the wave, he's helping shape where it goes next. The future of LGBTQ+ media is brighter because he's part of it. Bright Vachirawat is the kind of star whose influence doesn't stop at the borders of Thailand. His name echoes in fan communities from Seoul to Sao Paulo, from Manila to Madrid, a global force whose light travels far. And with that influence, Bright chooses compassion. He speaks up for love in all its forms, reminding millions that LGBTQ+ fans are not outsiders of his journey. His support isn't a publicity stunt, it's a consistent act of humanity. When he acknowledges queer fans, they don't just feel noticed, they feel valued. Bright's roles help normalize LGBTQ+ love as something soft, beautiful, and entirely natural. His allyship shows that real courage isn't loud sometimes, it's the quiet choice to stand beside those who need you. For fans who grew up feeling invisible, Bright's message becomes a lifeline. Love yourself, there is nothing wrong with who you are. Win Meta Win has a rare gift. He can turn a fictional love story into something that feels personal for every viewer. His performances capture innocence, confusion, hope, and heartbreak, the universal language of first love. But what makes Win truly important is what happened beyond the screen. His characters helped viewers who once dismissed queer stories suddenly find themselves cheering and caring deeply. Families watched together, cultures shifted, walls began to crack. Win showed the world that a romance between two men is still a romance filled with all the passion and tenderness audiences crave. By pouring sincerity into every role, Win didn't just act in BL, he helped redefine its place in global entertainment. Earth Katsamanat pours soul into every role he plays. He portrays queer characters not as symbols but as human beings with hopes, fears, flaws, and dreams. There is honesty in his performances that resonates deeply with LGBTQ+ viewers, a feeling of finally being understood. Earth doesn't sugarcoat queer life. He illuminates it, showing its beauty and its battles with compassion and truth. By telling these stories with heart, he helps rewrite society's understanding, one scene at a time. Mix Sahapap brings a gentle magic to everything he does. When he plays queer love, it feels soft, like a hand quietly reaching out to say, "You're safe here." His kindness toward LGBTQ+ fans doesn't end when the cameras stop rolling. He embraces them as equals, with genuine respect and compassion. That kind of empathy, given by someone with a massive platform, becomes a powerful form of activism. Mix shows that love doesn't always enter the world through applause or headlines. Sometimes it enters through kindness, consistent, quiet, and transformative. For those afraid to love openly, Mix offers reassurance. You deserve warmth, you deserve happiness, you deserve love. Forced Jirachapong performs with a boldness that refuses to be ignored. There's spark, passion, and undeniable intensity in his acting, and audiences can't look away. He approaches queer romance not as something taboo, but as something exciting and worthy of celebration. Instead of treating representation carefully like glass, Force treats it like fire alive, daring, thrilling. His rise signals a new era. Queer love isn't something to whisper about. It's something to cheer for. Each performance pulls LGBTQ+ stories further into the spotlight, where they belong. Book Cassadet performs with heart first, technique second, and that's what makes him extraordinary. He gives his characters history. He gives them depth. He gives them reasons to love and reasons to fight for that love. Whether depicting the sweetness of connection or the pain of rejection, Book brings audiences closer to the truth of queer lives. He challenges outdated ideas not through debates, but through raw emotion that anyone can understand. The book is proof that when you treat queer characters with dignity, the audience responds with empathy. He doesn't just tell stories, he makes people feel them. Apo Nadawin doesn't just act, he commands the screen. His bold, layered performance in Kin Porsche captivated an international audience and shattered outdated stereotypes of what queer masculinity can look like. Apo plays characters who are both powerful and vulnerable, showing audiences that love and strength are not opposites, but allies. For LGBTQ+ fans who have long waited for complex and fearless representation, Apo is a breakthrough. a game changer who refuses to play by old rules. Mile Fakfum challenges a decades-old narrative that masculinity must hide softness, affection, or attraction outside the norm. On screen, he embraces queer love with intensity and conviction, and the world watches captivated. His work proves that masculinity doesn't fade when love is shown openly. It expands, becoming more honest, more human, more real. Mile helps millions see that love between men can be fierce, romantic, and worthy of admiration, not ridicule. He isn't just an actor changing hearts in Thailand. He's helping change them everywhere. Krist Perawat didn't just rise, he sparked a wave. From the moment he stepped into the world of BL, his performances ignited a fandom that reached far beyond Thailand's borders. Suddenly, queer romance wasn't just a niche interest, it became a cultural bridge connecting fans from Vietnam to Brazil, from the Philippines to Europe. Krist's characters are passionate, stubborn, devoted, the kind of roles that make audiences feel every heartbeat. He proves that love between two men can be just as captivating, tender, and emotionally explosive as any classic romance the world has adored for decades. He may not hold a megaphone when it comes to activism, but his work speaks powerfully for him. Every scene he plays opens one more heart. Every storyline draws one more viewer into acceptance. Krist's impact is not measured in words, but in the millions who now see queer love as universal. His global fandom isn't just applause. It's a movement, and he helps set it in motion. Singto Prachaya brings something rare to BL: quiet power. He approaches queer characters with sincerity, portraying their joys, fears, and vulnerabilities with a depth that demands respect. His acting doesn't sensationalize love, it humanizes it. Every time he looks at his partner on screen, the audience sees recognition. Not of a trope, not a trend, but of truth. Singto makes sure viewers understand. Queer men are not side characters in their own lives. They love with honesty. They deserve tenderness. They belong. His performances soften walls that once felt unbreakable. One gentle role at a time, he helps replace stereotypes with understanding. Singto's revolution isn't loud, but it is profound, and it is lasting. Gulf Kanawut didn't just star in a BL drama, he reshaped the landscape of queer visibility. With his genuine commitment to storytelling and a chemistry that sparked global obsession, Gulf transformed curiosity into passion and passion into pride. He made queer romance feel exciting, modern, and fiercely desirable. For many young LGBTQ+ viewers watching him fall in love on screen, something clicked. This could be me. This love is real. This love is beautiful. Gulf showed that a romantic lead doesn't need to follow outdated rules, and neither does love. His presence helped turn BL into one of the most powerful cultural exports from Thailand, inspiring inclusivity across continents. He turned fandom into acceptance. He turned acceptance into visibility. And visibility changes futures. Gulf Kanawut isn't just admired. He's a symbol of what the next era of romance looks like. Mew Saposit possesses rare courage, the kind that speaks when others stay silent. He openly advocates for LGBTQ+ rights, pushing for representation not just in Thailand, but globally. Mew doesn't just portray queer love. He defends it. He uses interviews, music, and influence to challenge outdated norms. He shows young queer people that they are worth more than tolerance. They deserve celebration. His activism is a reminder that progress doesn't appear by chance. It appears because people like Mew push the world forward. Bilkin Putipong performs love like it is a living, breathing thing. His portrayals are delicate yet devastating, a trembling breath before a confession, eyes shining with fear and hope at the same time. When Bilkin cries, audiences feel their own hearts ache. When he smiles, it feels like sunrise. He doesn't treat queer love as a performance. He treats it as truth, fragile, powerful, worth fighting for. Every role he takes becomes a home for those who have been told their love is too complicated, too risky, too different. Bilkin shows them that their emotions are valid, their stories are worthy. Their love songs deserve to be heard without apology. His work is healing, softening scars left by silence, shame, and erasure. Bilkin isn't just capturing hearts, he's mending them, one scene at a time. PP Crit isn't merely stylish, he is a movement. With every outfit, every music video, every boundary-breaking moment, he challenges outdated rules about masculinity and identity. He blends glamour with grit, softness with swagger, turning gender expression into art. PP represents a new generation where different means dynamic, where fashion is language, where authenticity is power. He shows young fans everywhere that they don't have to shrink to fit in. They can expand, grow, and shine on their own terms. And people follow not because he asks them to, but because he inspires them to. In an industry that once feared nonconformity, PP Crit has proven that individuality is the future. He doesn't fit into a mold, and in its place. Saint Sepapong understands something many never learn. Fame is a gift and a responsibility. With millions of fans watching his every move, he chooses to stand with the LGBTQ+ community not only in roles, but in real life. He speaks when others stay quiet. He shows up when others disappear. He listens to fans whose stories have gone ignored for too long. And that matters. Because every time he uses his voice to support equality, someone out there feels safer. Someone believes they are worth defending. Someone dares to love without apology. Saint doesn't see representation as a marketing strategy. He sees it as humanity. His influence reaches far beyond screens, stretching into hearts that needed a hero who fights not with anger, but with empathy. Saint Sepapong proves that a true star isn't judged by how brightly he shines, but by how many people can see hope in his light. There are actors who entertain, and then there are actors who comfort. Taiwan does both. He has a gentle strength that makes people feel safe, whether he's portraying queer love on screen or supporting LGBTQ+ rights in his everyday life. His kindness isn't a performance, it's his character. At fan events, he listens. In interviews, he speaks with compassion. In advocacy, he stands firmly on the side of equality. Tay knows that allyship doesn't require grand gestures. It requires consistency, choosing love over judgment, dignity over ignorance, and courage over silence. Through every touching role he plays and every truth he supports, Tay sends a message that resonates deeply. Queer love isn't something to tolerate. It's something to cherish. His warmth reaches those still afraid to come out of the shadows, guiding them toward a world where love is soft, safe, and celebrated. Before BL became a global force, before international fandoms, before the world watched Thai love stories with admiration, there was new Thitapum, taking a leap into the unknown. He didn't choose BL at a time of guaranteed success. He chose it when the industry still whispered, still doubted, still hesitated. But New understood something important. Representation changes lives. With each character he brought to life, New made queer romance less taboo and more truthful. He helped audiences see love instead of stigma, joy instead of judgment. The movement grew. Borders fell. Millions found their way into the fandom. And New stood steady through all of it, a trusted face, a confident presence, a pioneer who pushed visibility forward simply by showing up with sincerity. He is one of the pillars that hold up the BL industry today. The kind of star whose impact will be remembered long after the spotlight moves. Gun at the Fan doesn't just deliver roles. He delivers truth raw, unfiltered, and unafraid. When he took on Not Me, he wasn't just acting. He was amplifying voices so often ignored. Queer youth demanding the right to live freely. Activists refusing to be erased. The brave ones are facing prejudice with fire in their eyes. Gun's performance wasn't polite, it was powerful. Not quiet, but loud with purpose. Every scene became a statement. We deserve rights. We deserve dignity. We are here. Through his art, Gunn bridges screens and reality, proving that entertainment can spark revolution, that a character can become a rallying cry. He is more than a star who shines. He is a force who pushes. Off Jumpole doesn't need to shout to be heard. His kindness speaks loudly enough. His portrayals of queer love are soft, gentle, and deeply human, reminding viewers that love doesn't have to be dramatic to be meaningful. Through his warmth and sincerity, audiences don't just watch romance develop. They believe in it. They root for it. They learn from it. Off turns empathy into visibility, the kind that brings people closer instead of dividing them. He shows that change often begins not with activism on a stage, but with compassion on a screen. For fans discovering LGBTQ+ stories for the first time, he becomes a guide, someone who helps break down fear and replace it with understanding. His impact may be quiet, but its effects are profound. One heart at a time, he is building acceptance. In South Africa, Somizi Mlango isn't just a celebrity, he's a cultural revolution. From the moment he stepped onto a stage as a young performer, the world could feel it, the energy, the confidence, the sparkle that refused to fade. Somizi danced, acted, and laughed his way into the hearts of millions. But behind the laughter was a long fight for acceptance. In a country still healing from the wounds of apartheid and wrestling with rigid ideas of masculinity, Somizi stood up and said, "This is who I am." He didn't whisper it, he sang it, danced it, lived it. As a choreographer, actor, and judge on Idol's SA, he showed that you can be masculine and feminine, powerful and soft, fierce and kind all at once. When he came out publicly, it wasn't just a personal moment, it was a national awakening. For many young Africans, Somizi was the first openly gay person they ever saw on TV, proud and unafraid. His flamboyant fashion, sharp humor, and authenticity broke the mold of what a man was supposed to be. Somizi became more than a public figure, he became a symbol of liberation, reminding Africa that freedom is not just political, it's personal. Lesizwe Dambuza's story begins in the township of Soweto, a place known for struggle and resilience. Growing up, he was the kid who made everyone laugh, even when he didn't feel like laughing himself. The jokes were his armor, the laughter his escape. But instead of hiding his truth, Lesizwe transformed it into his superpower. He built a YouTube empire from scratch, creating comedic skits that expose the humor and pain of everyday African life. His charisma and sharp timing made him an instant favorite, but what truly made him stand out wasn't just his comedy, it was his honesty. He spoke openly about being gay, about family rejection, and about the courage it takes to be visible in a culture that often tells you to disappear. Every video, every interview, every laugh became an act of quiet rebellion. Lesizwe showed that queer Africans could be joyful, creative, and loved, not just tolerated. His visibility on social media gave a new generation of LGBTQ+ youth permission to dream, to exist, and to smile without shame. Today, Lesizwe isn't just a comedian. He's a storyteller, an influencer, and a beacon of self-acceptance. He turned pain into laughter, and laughter into power. Leila Babirye's story is one of transformation not just of art, but of spirit. Born in Uganda, she discovered her love for sculpture and painting early on, but as her identity as a lesbian became known, life turned dangerous. Uganda's anti-LGBTQ laws meant that her existence was seen as a crime. When a mob came after her, Leila had no choice but to flee. She found refuge in New York, a city that welcomed her with open arms but also reminded her of what she had lost. In exile, she began to create again, this time using discarded materials from the streets, wood, metal, wire, debris. From the forgotten and the broken, she built beauty. Her sculptures, powerful, bold, and haunting, tell the stories of queer Africans who never had the chance to speak. Each piece stands as a survivor, just like her. "My art," she once said, "is my protest." Through her work, Leila gives voice to the silenced, dignity to the erased, and hope to the invisible. She transforms pain into permanence, a reminder that even in exile, the heart remembers home. Today, her art is displayed in galleries around the world, carrying with it a single message: you can destroy our homes, but never our humanity. Albert Nabanibo's courage came not from fame, but from faith. As a gospel singer in Rwanda, his voice was known for its purity, full of hope, love, and devotion. But behind the music was a secret that weighed heavily on his heart. When he finally came out as gay, it wasn't to make headlines, it was to make peace with himself and with God. "I'm still the same man," he said softly. "I just want to live honestly." Those words echoed far beyond Rwanda's borders. In a region where homosexuality is often criminalized or condemned, Albert's honesty was nothing short of revolutionary. He lost nearly everything: friends, colleagues, even the respect of his church community. But he refused to lose himself. In the silence that followed his confession, something powerful happened. People began to talk. His bravery opened doors for dialogue about faith, love, and inclusion. His story proved that spirituality and sexuality are not opposites. They can coexist beautifully in truth. Albert's journey became a quiet song of resistance, teaching that real faith isn't about fear, it's about freedom. Bolu Okupe was born into privilege, the son of a powerful Nigerian political advisor. But even privilege couldn't protect him from the weight of expectation. In 2021, with one photograph, Bolu made history. He wrapped himself in the rainbow flag and declared to the world, "I am who I am." In Nigeria, a country where being gay can lead to imprisonment or worse, that image was an act of rebellion. Overnight, Bolu became both celebrated and condemned, a symbol of defiance to some and of hope to many more. The outrage from his homeland was loud, but his confidence was louder. Today, Bolu uses his platform to speak about self-acceptance, mental health, and the beauty of queer African identity. He travels, he educates, and he inspires others to love themselves fearlessly, even when the world refuses to understand. He once said, "You can't live for fear, you must live for truth." And through that truth, Bolu has become a new kind of revolutionary one, armed not with anger, but with pride. Zanele Muholi doesn't just take photographs, they bear witness. Through their black and white portraits, they capture the power, pain, and pride of Black LGBTQ+ South Africans. Each image is a statement: we exist, we have always existed. Zanele's camera is both shield and sword, a tool of resistance and remembrance. For decades, their work has challenged how queer Africans are seen, portrayed, and remembered. Their art doesn't beg for acceptance, it commands recognition. They once said, "I'm not photographing victims, I'm photographing survivors." And that's exactly what their portraits radiate: survival, joy, defiance, and life. Zanele has existed the world, yet their mission remains deeply personal: to honor the queer bodies, faces, and spirits that colonial history tried to erase. Through their lens, invisibility becomes impossible. Their work reminds the world that Black queer love is not just beautiful, it's sacred. Koleka Patuma doesn't just write poetry, she writes revolution. Her words burst from the page like thunder, shaking the foundations of culture, gender, and faith. In her award-winning book, Collective Amnesia, she rewrote what African poetry could be: bold, queer, and unapologetically female. Her voice is both tender and terrifyingly powerful. She speaks about love, desire, religion, and the silence that often surrounds them. Her poems are not quiet confessions, they are war cries disguised as lullabies. "We were born into silence," she writes, "but we will die in laughter." Through her performances, Koleka turns stages into sanctuaries where women, queer people, and dreamers can breathe freely. She is part of a new generation of African thinkers who refuse to separate art from activism. Koleka's pen is her weapon, her rhythm is her rebellion, and her words are freedom set on fire. Through her art, she reminds us that poetry can heal what politics breaks, and that sometimes survival itself is the most radical poem of all. Koreondu is more than an artist, he's a world builder. Born into a powerful Angolan family, he could have lived comfortably behind the walls of privilege, but Koreon chose the harder path to challenge his society through art, creativity, and truth. Singer, designer, filmmaker, every part of his work is a statement. His music blends Angolan rhythms with global sounds, celebrating African identity while breaking away from tradition. His fashion designs glow with color, individuality, and pride. His films explore gender, freedom, and the complexities of self-expression. In a country where queerness is still whispered about, Koreon never hid. He stood tall, confident, elegant, untouchable, using art to spark conversation. His presence alone became political. A gay man who refused to apologize for existing beautifully. Over the years, Koreon has mentored young artists, pushing them to embrace authenticity and originality. For many queer Angolans, he's not just a celebrity, he's a symbol of what's possible. He proves that you can be African, queer, and proud, and still lead with excellence, creativity, and heart. Koreondu's story reminds us that art isn't just about creation, it's about courage. Every song, every design, every frame he produces is a love letter to freedom. Katlego Kai Kolanyane Kasapile isn't just a performer, she's a pioneer who changed what visibility means in Botswana. As the country's first openly transgender public figure, she wears her truth with pride, grace, and unwavering purpose. A writer, theater maker, and activist, she calls herself a cultural architect, and that's exactly what she is, building bridges between identity, art, and humanity. In a society where being trans is still heavily misunderstood, Katlego chose not to hide, but to create. Through spoken word, performance art, and advocacy, she has redefined what it means to be both African and transgender. Her voice shakes rooms, her presence demands respect, and her courage gives others permission to breathe freely. Katlego doesn't fight with anger, she transforms with beauty. Every poem, every performance, every conversation is a step toward a future where gender diversity isn't feared, but celebrated. She once said, "My existence is an act of defiance and design." And in that design, she's sketching the blueprint for a freer Africa. Football is often seen as a man's world full of pride, ego, and silence. But Fudi Lekolone, known to fans as Fudi Minaj, shattered that silence. As South Africa's first openly gay male professional footballer, he didn't just step onto the field, he stepped into history. The moment he came out, he faced mockery, insults, and rejection from teammates, fans, and even sponsors. In a sport where hyper-masculinity dominates, his honesty was considered a threat. But Fudi refused to hide who he was. With every save, every dive, every cheer from those who saw his courage, he proved that bravery isn't measured in goals, but in authenticity. Today, Fudi stands as a symbol of resilience for queer athletes around the world. He mentors young players, speaks against homophobia in sports, and reminds fans that strength doesn't come from pretending, it comes from showing up as yourself. He once said, "I may not be everyone's favorite goalkeeper, but I'll always be my truest self." And in that truth lies his victory. In Hollywood, forever is rare, but for Matt Bomer and Simon Halls, it's real. Matt, the charming, soft-spoken star of White Collar and The Normal Heart, met Simon, a respected Hollywood publicist, in the early 2000s. What began quietly turned into a lifelong love story built on trust, respect, and devotion. They secretly married in 2011, long before same-sex marriage became legal across America, proving that love doesn't need permission, only courage. Together, they've raised 3 sons, balancing fame with family in a way few ever manage. Matt rarely talks about his personal life, but when he does, his words speak volumes. "I never imagined I'd get to love someone this peacefully. Simon is home." In a city known for fleeting romances and endless gossip, theirs is a love built on quiet strength, a partnership that has lasted more than 2 decades. Even in 2025, Matt and Simon remain one of Hollywood's most admired couples, a living reminder that real love doesn't need to shout to be heard. They met through television, and somehow, the cameras caught something real. Jonathan Bennett, forever remembered as Aaron Samuels from Mean Girls, crossed paths with TV host and musician James Vaughn. What began as laughter turned into something far deeper, a connection that felt like destiny. When James proposed, he didn't use just words, he wrote and performed a song just for Jonathan. Their wedding in Mexico was a celebration of everything they stand for: authenticity, joy, and visibility. Surrounded by palm trees, ocean waves, and their closest friends, they exchanged vows that felt more like poetry than promises. Now, years later, their love story continues to grow. They're not just husbands, they're partners in life, business, and advocacy, using their platform to uplift LGBTQ+ visibility and support same-sex families. Jonathan once said, When I look at James, I don't just see love, I see freedom. Together, they've shown that being in love and being proud can exist beautifully side by side. Every love story has a beginning. Theirs began in vulnerability. Cheyenne Jackson, the Broadway and TV star known for Glee and American Horror Story, met Jason Landau in rehab. They were both in the middle of rebuilding their lives, fragile but hopeful. From that brokenness, something pure grew. They saw each other not as projects, but as people real, imperfect, and capable of love again. They married in 2014, later welcoming twins Willow and Ethan into a home filled with music, laughter, and second chances. Cheyenne once said, "He saw me at my lowest and chose to stay. That's love." Their story isn't about glamour or perfection, it's about healing, about finding light in the darkness and choosing each other, again and again. In an industry obsessed with appearances, Cheyenne and Jason remind the world that the most beautiful thing you can be is honest. Love doesn't follow rules, it writes its own. When Sarah Paulson and Holland Taylor revealed their relationship, the internet exploded with opinions. The 32-year age gap became a headline, but for them, it was never the story. Sarah, known for American Horror Story and Ratched, and Holland, a legendary actress celebrated for her timeless elegance, share a connection that goes beyond age, gender, or expectation. They met years before falling in love, two creative souls who recognized something rare in one another: understanding. Sarah once said, "I don't define love by gender or age, I define it by heart." They've faced criticism with humor and grace, walking red carpets hand in hand, unapologetic and radiant. In 2025, they remain one of Hollywood's most genuine and enduring couples, proof that love, when true, needs no explanation. He made us laugh as Barney Stinson in How I Met Your Mother, but Neil Patrick Harris's greatest role is being a husband and a dad. He and actor-chef David Burtka tied the knot in 2014 after more than a decade together, surrounded by friends, family, and the music of Elton John. Together, they're raising twins Gideon and Harper in a home that feels more like an adventure than a routine. From Halloween costumes to family vacations, every glimpse into their lives radiates something deeper than perfection, authenticity. Their marriage isn't built on fame, it's built on friendship, laughter, and the daily act of choosing love. Neil once said, "Love is choosing the same person every single day." In a world that often treats love as a performance, Neil and David remind us that the real magic lies in the quiet moments, bedtime stories, morning coffee, shared smiles, the kind of love that doesn't fade when the spotlight does. Two Canadian souls, one actor, one comedian bound by honesty and courage. Elliot Page, who captured the world's heart in Juno and became one of Hollywood's most visible transgender voices, found something rare with Mae Martin, the brilliant creator of Feel Good. Both have lived their lives under the harsh light of fame and the even harsher scrutiny of identity. Yet together, they found something gentle, a space where they could simply be. They talk openly about mental health, gender, and authenticity, using their platforms not for attention, but for truth. Their relationship isn't about spectacle, it's about sincerity. In a world obsessed with labels, Elliot and Mae show that the most radical love is the kind that just exists quiet, patient, and real. Their connection feels like a conversation between two souls who've finally found home. Every great love story has its trials. Theirs had heartbreak and redemption. Billy Porter, the Emmy, and Tony-winning star of Pose met businessman Adam Smith in 2009. They fell hard, then fell apart. But years later, fate brought them back together, stronger and wiser. They married in 2017 inches, a small, intimate ceremony filled with laughter, tears, and gratitude. Since then, they've faced life's storms side by side, from the pressures of fame to Billy's public disclosure of living with HIV. Through it all, love remained their anchor. Billy once said, "He makes me want to be better every single day." Their marriage is more than romance. It's resilience proof that second chances can build something deeper, that forgiveness can be a form of grace. In 2025, they continue to walk together, shining brighter than ever, dressed not just in couture, but in courage. Some love stories don't need the spotlight, they bloom quietly. beautifully in the shadows of fame. Ben Whishaw, the poetic voice behind Paddington and the soulful Q in the James Bond films, found his match in Australian composer Mark Bradshaw while working on Bright Star. Since then, their lives have intertwined in London, a home filled with books, music, and soft light. They keep their love private, not out of shame, but out of reverence. In a world that demands constant visibility, Ben and Mark choose stillness. They collaborate creatively, travel quietly, and remind us that intimacy doesn't need an audience. Their story whispers what many forget. Love doesn't have to be loud to be eternal. Sometimes it's the silence between two hearts that speaks the loudest. They never needed to confirm it because the world could feel it. From red carpet glances to music video chemistry, every look between Tessa Thompson and Janelle Monáe told a story of connection deeper than words. Both are artists who defy definition. Janelle, the visionary behind Dirty Computer; Tessa, the fearless actress from Thor and Creed. Together, they've redefined what it means to be queer, black, and unapologetically powerful. Their bond, whether romantic, spiritual, or both, radiates authenticity. Fans see them not as gossip, but as icons of liberation. In a world still learning to celebrate fluidity, they stand as living art, two constellations orbiting each other in light. Even in 2025, their names together inspire a generation that believes love should never have to hide. Laverne Cox has made history again and again as the first transgender woman nominated for an Emmy, as a fearless activist, and as a beacon of grace. But behind the cameras, there's another story, one of love and grounding. With filmmaker Jono Friedrichs, Laverne found someone who saw not the icon, but the woman. Together, they've stood hand in hand at premieres, pride marches, and fundraisers, partners in both art and purpose. Their relationship is built on equality, laughter, and a shared belief that love can be activism. Laverne once said, "We deserve love that celebrates us, not tolerates us." And she's lived by those words. In 2025, she and Jono remain side by side, radiant, resilient, and redefining what it means to love freely in a world that once told them they couldn't. To speak of Akihiro Miwa is to speak of history, art, and survival. Born in 1935, he was just a child when he survived the atomic bombing of Nagasaki, an experience that shaped his view of humanity and compassion. Rising from tragedy, he reinvented himself into one of Japan's most iconic figures, a singer, actor, writer, and philosopher wrapped in gold and mystery. Miwa was openly gay decades before Japan was ready to accept it. With his radiant golden hair, elegant kimono, and theatrical presence, he became both admired and feared, a living symbol of rebellion against societal norms. His soft-spoken wisdom and poetic manner of speech made him a national treasure, while his existence itself challenged the boundaries of gender and identity. For Miwa, beauty was not about perfection, it was about truth. "The most beautiful thing is to live as yourself," he once said. Even now, approaching 90, he remains a powerful voice for authenticity and self-acceptance. Akihiro Miwa is not only Japan's original queer icon, he is its eternal soul of freedom, living proof that art and courage can outlast generations. Komasaki wasn't just Japan's most famous gay adult film star, he was a symbol of pride, courage, and humanity in an industry often shrouded in silence. Born in 1983, he built his career in a world that rarely allowed queer men to exist openly, yet he refused to hide. Beyond his performances, Masaki used his platform for something far more meaningful: to educate and uplift. He became a passionate advocate for HIV awareness and sexual health, speaking at events and participating in campaigns that aimed to erase stigma and ignorance. His openness was revolutionary. In a society where even mentioning sexual health was taboo, Komasaki dared to bring light into the shadows. Fans admired his vulnerability as much as his confidence. He showed them that gay men could be beautiful, strong, and proud. When he passed away unexpectedly in 2013, tributes poured in from across the world. For many, he wasn't just a performer, he was a hero. His legacy lives on through every person he inspired to live without shame. Kenichi Mikawa is more than a singer. He's a force of nature who changed Japanese entertainment forever. Born in 1946, he began his career singing enka, Japan's classic form of emotional ballads that speak of heartbreak, nostalgia, and lost love. His velvet voice and graceful presence made him a household name. But while others simply sang about emotion, Mikawa lived it on stage, on TV, and in life. What made him legendary wasn't just his music, it was his audacity. In an era when most people stayed silent about their sexuality, Kenichi Mikawa showed up in dazzling costumes, dramatic makeup, and sharp wit that left audiences breathless. He blurred gender lines before Japan even had the language to describe what he represented. Through humor and charm, he taught the public that being different was not a weakness, it was a crown. Even today, in his late 70s, Mikawa remains vibrant and unapologetic. He continues to appear on variety shows, wearing his signature sequins and speaking his mind. His longevity is not only a testament to talent, but to authenticity. Kenichi Mikawa stands as living proof that the courage to be yourself can outshine time itself. When Shinjiro Atai, a beloved member of J-pop sensation AAA, stood before thousands of fans in Tokyo in 2023 and declared, "I am a gay man," it became a turning point in Japanese pop culture. His fans had loved him for years, his charm, his energy, his flawless performances. Yet beneath the perfection was a man carrying a quiet pain, the burden of hiding his real self. As he read his coming-out letter through tears, the audience cried with him. His vulnerability touched hearts not only in Japan, but across Asia. It was more than a personal revelation, it was a cultural awakening. For decades, the Japanese idol industry had demanded conformity, silence, and a polished illusion. Shinjiro shattered that illusion with grace. After his announcement, messages of support flooded social media. Fans thanked him for his honesty, saying his courage gave them the strength to accept themselves. Shinjiro's story is now part of Japan's LGBTQ+ history, a symbol of how love and truth can change even the most conservative traditions. In Japan's entertainment world, few shine brighter or redder than Kaz Laser. With his flaming crimson hair, gold suits, and razor-sharp wit, he's become a household name. But beyond the comedy and charisma lies a man who has quietly transformed how Japan sees queerness. Kaz Laser is openly bisexual, a rarity on Japanese television. His openness isn't performative, it's effortless. He talks about sexuality and gender with humor, intelligence, and calm defiance, making audiences laugh while challenging their preconceptions. He doesn't preach, he normalizes. That's his power. While Japan still struggles with full LGBTQ+ acceptance, Kaz Laser has managed to bring queer representation into millions of homes through laughter. He's proof that visibility doesn't always need to be loud sometimes. It can simply be confident, joyful, and unapologetically read. In post-war Japan, when being gay meant living unseen, Go Mishima used art to carve visibility into existence. Born in 1924, Mishima became one of the first Japanese artists to boldly depict homoerotic themes. His striking illustrations of muscular men, bold, sensual, and defiant, were more than eroticism. They were resistance. Through his drawings, Mishima celebrated the beauty and strength of gay men in a time when their very existence was erased. His work deeply influenced the development of Japan's gay visual culture and helped inspire Barazoku, the nation's first gay magazine. He turned desire into declaration, beauty into rebellion. Decades later, queer artists in Japan still reference him as a pioneer who transformed shame into pride. Go Mishima's art wasn't just about the body, it was about freedom. Few directors have captured the emotional fragility of youth like Shunji Iwai. Though he has never publicly come out, his films often explore queerness with tenderness and depth rarely seen in Japanese cinema. Works like All About Lily Cho-Cho and Love Letter portray isolation, gender fluidity, and identity with a sensitivity that transcends labels. Iwai's storytelling doesn't shout, it whispers. It opens quiet spaces where emotion speaks louder than words. Many LGBTQ+ viewers see in his films a reflection of their own inner world, the longing to be understood, the pain of silence, and the courage to feel. While his personal life remains private, his art has spoken volumes. Through cinema, Shunji Iwai became an unexpected yet powerful voice for empathy, showing Japan and the world that love, in all its forms, deserves to be seen. Hideki Noda has spent his entire career blurring the boundaries between gender, performance, and identity. Born in 1955, he rose to prominence as one of Japan's most influential playwrights and theater directors. His productions are known for their surreal energy, philosophical themes, and fearless approach to identity. Noda often portrays gender-fluid characters and uses his art to explore what it means to be human beyond categories. His performances challenge audiences to question the boxes society builds around gender and sexuality. Though he has never publicly defined his own orientation, Noda's work radiates empathy and defiance, a celebration of difference and freedom of expression. His voice in Japanese theater is that of liberation, breaking down walls not with anger, but with imagination. For decades, Hideki Noda has proven that art can be the loudest advocate for equality, even when the artist himself whispers. For generations, Yuji Mitsuya's voice has echoed through Japan's cultural landscape. He gave life to beloved anime characters in Saint Seiya, Touch, and Dragon Ball Z, becoming part of millions of childhood memories. Behind the mic, he was a quiet perfectionist professional, disciplined and always delivering magic. But behind that professionalism was a truth he had hidden for decades. In 2017, on a national TV program, Mitsuya did something extraordinary. Looking directly into the camera, he said softly, "I am gay." For a moment, the entire country froze. No scripts, no jokes, just honesty. It was one of the first times a respected male celebrity in Japan had come out publicly. His courage broke a silent wall. For older LGBTQ+ people who had lived entire lives concealing who they were, Mitsuya's confession was a release, a moment of shared healing. Younger artists began to speak more openly about their identities, crediting him as inspiration. Today, he's admired not just as a legendary voice actor, but as a man who used his voice for truth. From the first time he stepped on stage, Kyo's voice carried the power to move hearts. Born in 1982, he rose to fame in the early 2000s with his passionate, soulful style blending pop, gospel, and R&B into something uniquely his own. His songs told stories of longing, hope, and resilience. But his most powerful message came not from lyrics, but from life itself. In a culture where few dared to be open, Kyo proudly came out as gay. It was a decision that required immense strength, especially in Japan's tightly controlled entertainment scene. He faced challenges, but he stood firm, believing that visibility saves lives. His songs became more personal, reflecting his truth and inspiring others to embrace theirs. "Music saved me," Kyo said in an interview. "Now I want it to save others." That belief defines his artistry music as a bridge between pain and healing. Through his courage, he transformed from a singer into a messenger of hope for Japan's queer generation. If Scandal had a voice, it would have sounded like Tallulah Bankhead. She was outrageous, unfiltered, and absolutely unforgettable. With her raspy southern drawl and wicked sense of humor, Tallulah dominated both Broadway and Hollywood. She smoked cigars, drank whiskey like water, and cursed like a sailor, all while dressed in diamonds. She once famously quipped, "My father warned me about men and I wanted to find out why. Then I found out about women too. It wasn't a confession, it was a declaration." She lived openly bisexual, loving freely in a time when honesty came at a price. Tallulah's energy was electric. She didn't just live, she performed life. Her parties were legendary, filled with laughter, artists, and lovers of all genders. Behind the glamour, though, was a woman searching for truth, someone who refused to hide her heart behind society's expectations. She wasn't trying to be a role model, but by being herself loud, wild, unapologetic, she became one anyway. For the queer women who followed, Tallulah Bankhead's voice still echoes, "Be bold. Be funny. Be impossible to forget." She was the poet who loved women when the world told her not to. Mercedes D'Acosta may not have been a movie star, but she was the fire behind many of them. A brilliant writer, playwright, and intellectual, she moved through Hollywood like a storm, intense, passionate, and unforgettable. Her affairs were the stuff of legend. From Greta Garbo to Marlene Dietrich to Isadora Duncan, Mercedes loved some of the most famous women in the world. But her story isn't one of scandal, it's one of courage. She lived openly queer at a time when that could destroy a woman's career or, worse, her life. She wrote love letters that glowed with emotion and honesty, refusing to let shame define her. Hollywood tried to silence her. Many called her reckless, others called her dangerous, but time proved her right. She was simply ahead of her era. Mercedes de Acosta wasn't hiding, she was living. And in doing so, she gave a voice to women who felt invisible. Her words still burn with beauty and bravery, a reminder that love, in any form, is sacred. She was lightning in human form, wild, fearless, unforgettable. Born into poverty in St. Louis, Josephine Baker rose from the streets to become the first Black international superstar. When America refused to see her brilliance, she took her magic to Paris, where the world finally caught its breath. On stage, she shimmered in feathers and jewels. Off stage, she broke every rule ever written about race, class, and gender. Josephine was openly bisexual, known for her passionate relationships with both men and women, including the painter Frida Kahlo. She lived with unapologetic freedom at a time when Black women weren't even allowed to dream of such things. In her performances, she turned her body into art, her identity into protest, and her love into a revolution. But she was more than a performer. During World War II, she worked for the French resistance, smuggling messages in her sheet music and risking her life for freedom not just for herself, but for all who were silenced. Josephine Baker's legacy is bigger than fame. She didn't just dance, she dared. She was wit, wisdom, and wickedness wrapped in a corset. Before censorship, before the Hays Code tried to tame Hollywood, Mae West was already setting it on fire. In 1927, she wrote The Drag, one of the first plays in American history to feature gay characters and themes. It was banned immediately, of course, but that never stopped her. Mae West was the original provocateur. She strutted into Hollywood with her sharp one-liners and sultry swagger, daring to say out loud what everyone else only whispered. She was a fierce advocate for sexual freedom and an ally to the LGBTQ+ community long before the word ally existed. She famously said, "I believe in censorship. I made a fortune out of it." That line alone captured her genius, bold, funny, and in complete control. Though she never publicly labeled her sexuality, her open support for queer art and artists was radical for her time. Mae West wasn't just a star, she was a storm in heels who refused to dim her light for anyone. She was a writer who didn't just tell stories, she challenged the world. Lillian Hellman was a playwright whose words burned through polite society like fire through paper. Her sharp intellect and courage made her one of the most powerful voices in American theater. Though history often remembers her politics and her long partnership with author Dashiell Hammett, her private life told another story, one of love, complexity, and hidden tenderness toward women. Hellman lived in a world that punished difference, but her art was her rebellion. She explored themes of hypocrisy, conformity, and moral courage, reflections of her own internal battles. Her work often gave voice to outsiders, to people forced to hide their truths. In that way, Lillian was writing about herself. Behind her strong will and public fire was a woman who understood the cost of silence. And yet, through her plays and her defiance, she left behind a legacy of integrity, the courage to live with conviction, no matter the cost. Quiet elegance, subtle power, unspoken truth. Ruth Draper was not a Hollywood celebrity. She was something rarer, a one-woman force of art. Her solo performances, crafted from her own imagination, made her an international sensation. With nothing but a chair, a scarf, and her voice, she could transform into an entire cast of characters. She moved among New York's artistic elite poets, writers, and actors, and her private life was filled with whispered romances with women who adored her intelligence and charm. Draper never shouted her truth, she embodied it quietly. Every gesture, every pause, every moment on stage carried the weight of a woman who knew who she was, even if the world didn't. Ruth Draper's art was an extension of her heart, precise, graceful, and deeply human. She showed that truth doesn't always need to be shouted. Sometimes it's enough to live it softly, with dignity. Courage, grace, vision. Eva Le Gallienne was one of the greatest theater minds of the 20th century, an actress, director, and producer who fought for art that meant something. But her story is remembered for more than her talent. It's remembered for her honesty. At a time when being openly lesbian could end a career, Eva refused to hide. She loved women openly, including actresses Alla Natsimova and Mercedes de Acosta, and built a life defined by truth, not fear. She founded the Civic Repertory Theater in New York, bringing high-quality theater to the people at affordable prices. For Eva, art wasn't about fame, it was about integrity. While others hid behind Hollywood's illusions, she stood as herself, elegant, proud, and unashamed. She once said, "Acting is not about pretending, it's about revealing." And that was her legacy. She revealed her soul on stage, and in doing so, showed the world what real authenticity looked like. Eva Le Gallienne didn't just live before Pride, she was Pride, a woman of conviction who proved that the truest form of art is being yourself. She was the mystery every camera fell in love with, silent, distant, magnetic. Greta Garbo didn't just act, she haunted the screen. Her eyes could tell a story before her lips ever moved. In the golden age of Hollywood, she became a symbol of grace, restraint, and eternal allure, a goddess made of shadows and light. But behind that icy perfection was a woman fiercely protective of her truth. Garbo was known for her solitude, her secrecy, and her refusal to play by anyone's rules. The world saw her as the Swedish Sphinx, but those who knew her closely understood why. Her bond with writer and socialite Mercedes de Acosta was deep, emotional, and rumored to be romantic. They shared letters that burned with longing, filled with phrases that could only be written between two souls, connected beyond friendship. In a time when loving another woman could destroy careers, Garbo chose silence. Yet her silence spoke volumes. When she said, "I want to be alone," it wasn't sadness, it was rebellion. It was the voice of a woman who refused to be owned by Hollywood, by men, or by the lies of a world not ready for her truth. Greta Garbo didn't just walk away from fame, she walked toward freedom. She was smoke and silk, danger and desire. Marlene Dietrich wasn't just a star, she was a revolution. In the 1,930 seconds, when women were expected to be delicate and proper, she strode onto stages in tuxedos, kissed women in nightclubs, and made the world fall to its knees. Her husky voice and knowing smile made her irresistible, but what truly set her apart was her defiance. Dietrich lived as though gender rules simply didn't exist. She was openly bisexual among her inner circle, rumored to have shared passionate relationships with both men and women, including Greta Garbo. She made art out of rebellion. Every time she walked onto a film set wearing pants, she wasn't just dressing for comfort, she was making a statement. "I own myself." Dietrich once said, "Darling, the legs aren't so beautiful, I just know what to do with them." And that summed her up perfectly confident, sharp, unbothered. She used her wit and her beauty as weapons, but beneath that strength was a woman who simply wanted to live honestly. To this day, Marlene Dietrich remains a timeless emblem of queer glamour and liberation, the woman who made power seductive. Long before Hollywood had rules, Alla Natsimova broke them all. A Russian-born actress, screenwriter, and producer, she brought European sophistication to the early silent film era. But Natsimova wasn't just talented, she was visionary. She built her own studio, produced her own films, and refused to bow to male authority. Her Beverly Hills estate, known as the Garden of Allah, became one of the most legendary safe havens in Hollywood. There, queer actors, writers, and artists could gather without fear, a hidden paradise for those who had to pretend in public. Names like Rudolph Valentino, Tallulah Bankhead, and Greta Garbo all passed through her doors. Natsimova lived openly with her partner, actress Gleska Marshall. They created a private world where art and love blended seamlessly. Though history tried to erase her queerness, her influence lives on in every generation of LGBTQ+ artists who fight for authenticity. In many ways, she was Hollywood's first openly queer powerhouse, a woman who turned her mansion into a temple of freedom. The Garden of Allah wasn't just a home, it was a statement. We exist, we create, we love.